Coming up tonight, the Harmony of the Seas sails into Germany. We try to burn off some of all this food, and cruise director gets put to the test. It's all coming up, so let's set sail. Welcome to day number 8 of the cruise view from on board the Harmony of the Seas. Today, Sunday, October 30th, 2016, we are once again continuing our voyage across the ocean with another sea day. Our noontime location was roughly 28 degrees and 17 minutes north by 40 degrees and 7 minutes west. That put us very close to the middle of the Atlantic Ocean today. Not sure if today or tomorrow is the official crossing point of the middle, but we are right about at that point now. Our weather, very similar to what we've been seeing. Once again, the forecast called for those scattered thunderstorms, and once again, we really did not see them too much. We did get a passing shower at about 1 o'clock that disrupted a couple things, and again tonight at 8 o'clock it was raining, and now at 1:33 in the morning, can't really see it out the windows there, but it is still pouring outside, so it's pretty much been raining all night at least. But during the day it was a beautiful day, high of 73 degrees, just a very mild breeze, nothing too major, nothing like we've been seeing the past several days. And as for the sea conditions, we had roughly 6-foot seas. Not quite sure how accurate that is. The ship is certainly moving around a little bit more than we saw yesterday when the seas were much smoother, but also supposedly 6 foot, so I think they may have been a little bit bigger, or yesterday's number may have been a little inaccurate. But in either case, they were said to be 6 foot, and you could certainly see and feel the ship moving around a lot more today than the other days, but it is a milder rolling motion, where the first couple days you could really hear the hull slamming with the water, and it was a much rougher rocking than we had today. As for our sunrise this morning, it was at 7:58 a.m. with a sunset tonight at about 7:08 p.m. But neither of those really matter, because once again it was mainly cloudy, which meant that you couldn't really see any kind of sunrise or sunset. It just got a bit brighter and darker with each one. So overall, though, it was a nice day. A lot of people made it out to the pool because it was, for the most part, sunny and beautiful for the middle of the day. And as for our compass summary today, for me it started early, about 9:30 in the morning once again, with a Central Park tour. The main agriculturalist from both the Oasis, the Allure, and now the Harmony of the Seas gave a brief tour of Central Park and some background information on not only what was in Central Park and why decisions were made, but some background stories on things that had occurred on the Oasis and the Allure, along with all the launches of the 3 ships. And that was run by Laszlo Torres, who we'll be speaking with tomorrow, so be sure to tune in to tomorrow's episode to hear a bit more information about Central Park and how all the agricultural side of the Harmony of the Seas, as well as all 3 of the Oasis class ships, really does work for Royal Caribbean. And then following that, at noon today, down on the Boardwalk, supposed to be celebrating Oktoberfest, and the compass was listed as Celebrate Oktoberfest with your Harmony Oompa band. That was scheduled to be from noon to 1. Fortunately, right at noon, one of those storms did pass through, so it was ultimately delayed until 1 o'clock, but it once again lasted an hour from 1 to 2. And it was basically some traditional German music along with a lot of sausage and some pretzels, basically traditional Oktoberfest food laid out on the boardwalk for everybody to enjoy. And then from there at 3 o'clock we had a traditional staple of every cruise. The Love and Marriage game show was held in the Royal Theatre. It was, as I mentioned, 3 o'clock, an afternoon matinee showing rather than the traditional evening showings. There are a lot of shows on board the Harmony of the Seas, so obviously some things have to get moved around. This is one of the ones that was moved to an afternoon. It did get a very nice sized crowd, so it didn't hurt it at all. People definitely showed up for it. And I've seen a lot of love marriage game shows, go to it on pretty much every one of the cruises I'm sailing on. This one I thought was very well done. One of the things that you tend to notice after a while is that a lot of the couples are a bit cheesy and kind of play into the game, and it seems like make some stuff up just to be humorous. This one was one of the few shows that it seemed like all three couples were genuinely honest and just having fun with it, which really made the show entertaining. And of course, Abe Hughes, the cruise director, was the one that hosted it. Not only did he host it, but something we haven't seen the past several sailings, he was also the person that came out to get the different contestants as well.
14 days? My goodness! I do. Let's go on a cruise. Pretty much it. All right, 14 days.
So he really ran the entire show from start to finish, rather than having the activities manager kind of start things out for him.
1, 2, 3. Thank you very much for joining us for the Love and Marriage Game Show. Have a wonderful afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
And then that went a little over an hour. I think it ended maybe like 4:10, roughly around there. And at 6 o'clock tonight, of course, was then dinner. The day 8 of this new menu. There'll be, of course, 13 total. And today was a smart casual, the second of the sailing. So we've now had 2 formal and 2 smart casual, with 4 casual days so far in this sailing. So we're seeing a little more variety than we have on any of the previous sailings that I've covered with this series. Today's menu, not one of my personal favorites. A couple things I know a lot of other people like, such as the lobster ravioli, but for me, not liking seafood or anything, didn't see as much. I did have the lentil soup for my starter, and my entree I ordered off of the classics menu with the grilled chicken breast, which was perfectly cooked, nice and juicy, a very nicely prepared chicken breast, and of course that is the classic, so it's available every single day, so if you don't see something, you can always go for that. And then as my dessert, I went with the pavlova, as well as an item off of the traditional menu as well, the New York cheesecake. Following that, I had a little bit of a break. The headliner showed twice tonight, once at 7:30, which is a little too early for my dinner time. And then the second time, which I did attend, was the 9:30 showing. Tonight's headliner was comedian and juggler Pete Matthews. Apparently he's done all of the transatlantics recently, the Oasis, the Allure, and I'm thinking they meant the Anthem and Quantum, I'm not quite sure, but they said the 4 most recent largest ships, transatlantics, that he was on board. And watching his act, you can certainly understand why they would do that, because it was definitely one of the top acts. I think I've said that a lot about these guest entertainers. We've been getting a lot of really good ones, but he was certainly in his own league, because not only was he comedic and humorous juggler like we've seen many times before, but he also had a lot of physical humor and a lot of physical gags and jokes to his routine, and the way that his jokes flowed just was so natural and smooth, and really incorporated a lot of Royal Caribbean and Harmony of the Seas, and just really seemed individualized to our sailing rather than just a generic thing. So he certainly felt a little more like somebody who isn't living off of the cruise industry, but certainly does come on board for special sailings like this as a little added treat.
I saw this amazing gameplay at the gangway. Dodge the photographer! I'm watching people leave the ship like this. No, thank you, no. Maureen, get behind me, dear. Quick, duck and roll. All right, that way. And once you were clear of the photographer, you were back on your walker.
And then that was 9:30, so it went till roughly 10:15, and after that I immediately, along with almost everybody, went across the way to Studio B for the quest. And this, of course, being in Studio B was, in my opinion, the best form of the quest. It's been a while since I got to see this one. Of course, on the Jewel last year it was in a lounge. For that, Quantum didn't have it on either sailing. Then I had 2 Grandeur sailings where it was in a lounge. So it's been almost 4 years now since the last time I've seen the quest done the way that it is done best in Studio B, with all that space out there and basically ensuring everybody's involved by dividing the groups based on the sections of the stands rather than actual individual groups.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, everybody on your feet, everybody on your feet, come on, make some noise, come on. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CW Bullet Quest Game Show. How do you feel? Woo! This is a crazy entertainment family right here, ladies and gentlemen. Your youth staff, your sports staff, and your cruise character staff. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CW Bullet Quest. Are you ready? So now if you're ready, please welcome to the stage the only one in the world, your cruise director, your host, is Abe Hughes.
What's up, party people? How you doing out there tonight?
So, as usual, the quest was, of course, hosted by Abe, another one of the traditional cruising shows also held today, so pretty much both of the major staples of a cruise were held on this day. And tonight's version of the quest listed roughly 75 minutes and featured 25 challenges, so it was a very full one. The past couple have been a little bit light. It seemed like closer to about a dozen challenges, so this one seemed like Abe really kind of kept the show moving and just kept throwing challenge after challenge. I'm not sure I've ever actually seen 25 challenges in a single game of the quest, so he really got it loaded up well. And he had a lot of fun with it, a lot of new and original ones, along with a lot of the classic challenges that you would expect.
Are you guys ready for the quest? Here we go. Quest number one. I'm looking for any team representative, team number in hand, and show me a necktie. Who's got a necktie? Anybody got a necktie? Take it off. Show it off. Tell me off. Team number 5, team number 4, team number 9, team number 10. You stole that. Give it back to him. You're like a vulture. Give it back to him. It's not yours. Where's your number? What's your number? There we go. Team number 6. Oh yeah. Anybody else out there? This quest is going, and gone. What is that? That is a sock of some sort? That is a choker? I don't know what that is. I'm looking for a necktie, but whatever. All right. Nice try.
One point, things got a little bit too out of hand for him. He really tried to take control of the game and took ownership of things, came out right from the start trying to call people out for cheating and bringing their bag full of props in order to cheat the game, and continued on with that sort of hard attitude. We're here to have fun, and cheating doesn't help with that.
All right. Now, some of you may have seen this quest on a past cruise. Some of you think that you've outsmarted me by bringing a bag full of crap with you to this particular game. So, if you happen to bring a big old pre-made bag full of crap with you, I'll be looking after you, all right? First of all, please do not pull things out of a pre-made bag. There's a pretty damn good chance I'm not going to ask for anything in the bag, because I am not going to play this like every other cruise director in this fleet, okay? Okay, there might be a couple, but it's okay. They stole them from me, all right?
So there's one group, as there often is, that really kind of took it a bit too seriously, while the rest of the room really tried to have fun and enjoy it. And one point that got a little bit too heated and out of control for Abe to handle, and he just kind of had to stop it and reset things and continue on.
But again, please be very, very careful. I am going to be very clear on this right now, just so you are all aware. We are playing for very, very crappy prizes. Just telling you. Now, in the video, it actually failed to mention one very important rule. I actually like to call it the amendment. It's what I would consider the law of Mariner 2010. This space right here is considered Abe's personal space, okay? I have actually gotten not one, but 2 different concussions for this game show. And every time my wife revs up the microwave, now I piss my pants and forget my name for a half an hour. So please, please do not come and barrel into me. I do not want to get anything knocked out or knocked out, okay? All right, so very, very good. All right. Let go of me now. Here we go, guys. Where is on your feet? This quest is closed. The quest is closed. Shut off the music. Everybody go back to your tent. Go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. We're just gonna call that a wash. Thank you, gentlemen, for your efforts. But if I get touched, picked up, tackled, or grabbed again, your team is done. Seriously. It's done. I'm just saying. All right? I'm sorry if I left the game of play. It's all for fun, but I'm not gonna get injured. Okay? Thank you very much. It's all for fun. And again, let me repeat myself. We're playing for shitty prizes. Oh, did I say shit? I said shit-y. Oh yeah, that's very different. All right. All right, well, there we go. Some people take this very, very seriously. Here we go. Quest number...
But overall, it was a great, entertaining game of the quest. A little bit cleaner with some moments that certainly took it to the adult-only area of things. And then that, of course, led till about 12:15, as I mentioned, 75 minutes, and directly across the way back in the Royal Theatre, they were showing Home in 3D, so any of those people that were a bit offended by the quest had somewhere else to go, as they put it. That about did it for today's Compass. It was a pretty full one, a lot of different things to it, pretty good variety, as it often is when you've got those staple events. A lot of things to see and do, a lot of special events going on, like that Oktoberfest, and that will continue tomorrow with the Halloween festivities and all those events that are going on. But as for today, that about did it for the Compass, so we're going to move on to our venue tour. On a day like today, a lot of things. On days there's a little bit less going on, of course, you can go spend your time over at the Sports Zone with all those fun activities. Deck 15 of the Harmony of the Seas is dominated by the pool zone, but if you continue past the Viking Crown Lounge, you'll find the other top deck area, the Sports Zone. Along this passageway on the starboard side, you'll find the area's complimentary dining venue, Mini Bites, a new small bites grab-and-go eatery that replaces the former Whipeout Cafe with a larger and more open casual dining venue. The Sports Zone surrounds the gap looking over the boardwalk, with the sports court occupying the starboard side. This full-size court is completely closed in with glass and netting above to ensure no balls can escape the area of play or cause problems by falling down below. There are physical basketball nets, but the area is also used for other sports such as soccer, tennis, and a variety of games like dodgeball. Throughout a day, you'll find periods of open play time dedicated to different purposes, as well as structured tournaments. The back of the Sports Zone floats over the Aqua Theater, featuring a pair of FlowRiders. These large surf simulators move 34,000 gallons of water a minute to create a simulated wave that can be used for either boogie boarding or surfing. Since there are two on board the Harmony, one can be dedicated to each type of use all day long. If surfing isn't your style though, there is plenty of seating available at each FlowRider, allowing everyone to come watch and cheer on those that are taking a go at it. In addition to the regular daytime hours, throughout a sailing there are often late night surfing sessions scheduled for the teen club, and for anyone wanting a little more time on the wave, private sessions are available for purchase each evening as well. Directly between the FlowRiders, you'll find the Sports Zones bar, the Whipeout bar, which is also the location of the sports desk where you can sign your waiver and receive your wristbands. The port side of the sports zone is occupied by Harmony Dunes. This large 9-hole miniature golf course is open 24 hours a day and features a brand new theming that is slowly being introduced on all new and renovated courses in the fleet. Featuring a much cleaner and brighter color palette, the change adds some extra vibrance compared to the previous theme on our sisters that matches to the original on the Voyager of the Seas back in 1999. At the forward end of the sports zone, you'll find some more casual areas, with the Adventure Ocean back deck for the teens to hang out, along with a pair of ping pong pods on either side of the Boardwalk gap. Directly over the gap, introduced with the Oasis of the Seas and returning with the Harmony, is the zip line. This 82-foot long zip line descends from deck 16 at its start by the FlowRiders and Whipeout bar to deck 15 by the ping pong pods and Harmony Dunes. In between, guests fly over the boardwalk 9 to 10 decks below. The major addition to the sports zone, though, is the Ultimate Abyss slide. Grab a mat and walk up the stairs off the back of deck 16 to enter one of the 2 slides. Each takes riders on a dizzying ride through 216 feet of tube, dropping 10 decks at speeds up to 9 miles per hour. All the while, the slide is filled with lights and sounds to enhance the experience as you slide all the way down to the boardwalk on deck 6. As you finally exit the tube, a photo is snapped, which you can then view and purchase near the mat drop-off bins. While the sports zone may not be a radical change from our sisters, it is, like every other area, an evolutionary change of improvements and some new features. And then, one of the venues featured in there was, of course, Mini Bites, a venue that is a new one to the Harmony of the Seas, and it was previously on the Oasis and Allure in the same spot, but a slightly different name and format, different purpose. It was meant to be a venue for the people out on the sports deck to get a quick bite to eat rather than going into the Windjammer. So, Mini Bites is new to the Harmony of the Seas, and that means we're going to feature it as today's Daily Dine. The Oasis of the Seas brought in a large sports deck, and along with it was its own dining venue, the Whipeout Cafe. The small venue located directly below the Windjammer offered a quick place to stop in and grab something to go. The Harmony of the Seas has redesigned this area into Mini Bites. The walls are gone, and a large seating area now flows right into the venue and down the starboard side. With this new layout was to come a new menu featuring a variety of small grab-and-go dishes such as grilled cheese, mozzarella sticks, and mini quiches. But at this time, the venue is serving a very similar lineup to its predecessor with hamburgers, hot dogs, nachos, and fries. Along with a variety of desserts. In addition to its lunch offerings, Mini Bites is also open for breakfast with all the main staples of the Windjammer such as waffles, French toast, scrambled eggs, bacon, and more. What makes it different from the Windjammer directly above it, though, is that it is the only place on board to get a made-to-order omelet. With ample covered seating and plenty of sea views, Mini Bites is a great place to stop for a bite to eat while entering a port or spending a day on the pool or sports decks. And so Mini Bites was one of those venues that I was really kind of looking forward to on the Harmony of the Seas. All the marketing made it look really interesting, something new, something unique. They showed off a lot of cool things, a lot of appetizer stuff. If you've been to like the Crown and Anchor events for past cruisers, different things like that, or you are Diamond or up and you get to go to the Diamond events each day, you know, those different little tapas that they have, things like mini egg rolls or mozzarella sticks, all those kinds of items. I've seen pictures of stuff in the early sailings where they were showing off mini fried macaroni and cheese bites, mini grilled cheese, all sorts of mini grab and go type items that you can just pick up and eat. And that's kind of what I was expecting from mini bites. It is now day number 8, and we up to this point have not seen any of those items. It has, for the most part, been the exact same format as the old venue that was there. We have breakfast in there, and then for lunch, it hasn't been anything but the usual hamburgers, hot dogs, French fries, chili, and those were all items the old venue featured and were the only items featured in that venue. So it really is the exact same venue as the old one, just with a slightly different look to it that is certainly an upgrade from the old one, but not the change to the offerings I was expecting. It doesn't mean it's a bad venue. I've probably eaten there more than any other venue just because it is so convenient, and I've certainly eaten there more than I did on the Oasis because of the more open and available environment that it does have, with the nice seating that you can look out to the ocean, making it a perfect place if you want to watch the ocean and not deal with the crowds of the Windjammer. But it's still nothing new like I had hoped for, so I don't know if it was a little hard to manage or if maybe it didn't meet the crowds, but hopefully in the future, once we reach North America, they'll go to that original format where it did have some of those special things. In either case though, it is still a great place to go eat, pick up something quick while you're on the run, or even if you just want to avoid the Windjammer crowd, it is always empty, and the food has been delicious every time I was there. Is also for breakfast the only place you can go for those made-to-order omelets, so if you want that, you actually must go to Mini Bites. Then, moving on from the sports zone, I got to sit down today with the man who's responsible for almost everything you see and do on board the Harmony of the Seas, the guy who was responsible for most of those events today. Got to sit down with the cruise director, Abe Hughes.
Hello, Harmony of the Seas! How you doing out there tonight? Okay, fine. Hold on just 1 second.
Where did you steal those?
I found them in the laundry room. All right.
So today I am joined by Abe Hughes, the cruise director on board the Harmony of the Seas.
Hey everybody,
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me.
So can you provide a little background on yourself?
Well, I'm the cruise director on board Harmony of the Seas, world's largest, newest cruise ship, heading to America as we speak. We're on a transatlantic journey right now. I've been with Royal Caribbean for 13 years, actually. Started when I was 10. Well, maybe not that young, but no, I did start in my younger days, and I started as the cruise director staff with Royal Caribbean, and then was promoted to assistant cruise director, and then in 2006, I was promoted to cruise director, and I've been around since in the industry. Yeah.
So you were most recently on board the Anthem of the Seas. What was it like getting that call that you were going to be the cruise director of the largest ship in the world?
Well, it's very, very exciting. The Anthem of the Seas sailed out of Bayonne, New Jersey. It's actually a relatively new ship as well. It just launched just about 2 years ago. And it's still new. It still has that new ship smell, if you will. And but it was very, very exciting. I was actually on board the ship, and I got that phone call asking me, what do you think? And very, very excited. Very excited.
And then you were on Anthem right up to here. A lot of times cruise directors go on break, they get a couple months off, and they have time to plan their next cruise out. You had only a couple days and pretty much joined the ship the exact same time that I did. So what was that like to try and prepare for something this big?
Well, in preparation for changing ships is a lengthy process, if you will. And I did get that phone call, but I did know that I was going to be coming on board I had about a 6 weeks heads up. So I still had the operation to run on board the Anthem of the Seas, and then the cruise director that was on board the Harmony, his name is Bobby Brown, he and I started contacting each other well in advance. And we had the opportunity to do, of course, with the high-speed internet and everything, we had face-to-face FaceTime conversations regarding the planning for the transatlantic crossing into the inaugural sailings out of Fort Lauderdale, into the regular cruising as well. So we had a lot of preparation that we had there. And then, generally speaking, if you talk about how much a cruise director works to time off, usually it's about 4 to 5 months on and then 2 to 3 months off, essentially. And I was mid-contract, so I was on board the Anthem for just 2 months, and then I got transferred over, and it was a very quick transfer. I wish I actually had a couple of days, but I went from the Anthem, I went to JFK Airport, flew overnight to Barcelona, got there the next morning, and joined the ship. So it was pretty much a go. So that was a fun, quick turnaround. But all in all, the preparation starts, quite a few weeks in advance, and then and here I am, the new home, the Harmony.
Yeah. And then with the Harmony of the Seas, she's a large ship, an Oasis class ship. You've never done one of those before, so how did you acclimate yourself to the ship once you got on board?
Yeah, I've sailed on the Oasis and the Allure a number of times. I actually had the opportunity to work shoreside for the media side of Royal Caribbean for a couple of years out of Miami. So I was experienced with the class of the Oasis and the Allure. However, holding the role as a cruise director on board, it was a bit different. And I've had the pleasure now, being on board the Harmony, of being the cruise director on every class of ship in the entire Royal Caribbean fleet. So going from the Little Empress of the Seas, the Majesty, the Radiance class ships, the Vision class ships, Voyager, Freedom, and now Quantum, as well as Oasis class ships. So every single class of ship has a little bit of a different workload, if you will, for the cruise director and how we need to work. And the Harmony, we just had to adjust a little bit here and there. I have a much larger team on board this ship. On the Anthem, my previous ship, in the cruise and entertainment division, I had 150 to 160 crew that would be directly reporting to me as the cruise director. And on board this ship, I've got over 220. So I have another 70 names that I need to learn. And I have an additional, a couple of different casts and so on and so forth. But it's the nice thing about this company is no matter what ship you're on, the structure itself is essentially the same. The operation is the same. The policies are the same. But you've got your the number of crew that you're managing in the operation itself. That's what varies from ship to ship.
So now you said that you've been on every single class. You've obviously only been on here for about 8 days now, but out of all of them, which one was your favorite class to work?
This one? No. Great memories on all, to be honest with you. It was, I could say that there's two ships that hold a near and dear to my heart, and this is going to be the third, actually. One of them was the Freedom of the Seas, because I was actually in Turku, Finland when she was being constructed. So I saw the Freedom bare metal. No artwork, no carpets, no ceiling panels. I mean, it was a shell of a ship, and seeing her to come together was very, very special. Another one was gosh, there's actually multiple ships now. Now I'm thinking. The next one was the Anthem of the Seas, because I've been on her for the last year, and the crew on that ship is just outstanding, and the ship is amazing, the entertainment is amazing, and I've really become very close to that. I have to add into the Mariner as well, Mariner of the Seas, because we did a journey on that ship from Port Canaveral, Florida to Los Angeles, but the ship was too big to go through the Panama Canal, so we had to go all the way around Cape Horn on a 46-day journey. And that was probably the greatest cruise that I've ever done, and there's actually many guests that are on board the Harmony now that were on that 46-day round the Horn cruise, and it still goes down in history as many people's very, very best cruise that they have ever done. And then now Harmony. Had the opportunity to visit this ship also in Saint Nazaire in France when the ship was being built in the shipyard. Although I wasn't the cruise director, I had the opportunity to see this in its construction phases. And so again, seeing her come to life and bringing her to the United States and introducing her to the new American market and her new home port of Port Everglades is always going to be very special to me as well. So many different memories over the decade or so that I've been cruising.
So your last ship was the Anthem in the Seas. That is a Quantum class.
Yes.
That ship is very entertainment focused, high tech. The Harmony has pulled a little bit of those aspects into here.
Yep.
But how has your role changed a little bit between what you did on Anthem versus what you're doing now on Harmony?
Yeah, so you nailed it. When it comes to the Quantum class ships, they are groundbreaking when it comes to technology. They were the first to have the app. They were the first to have the RFID in and out of the staterooms, the WOW bands, the VOOM internet, the high-speed internet. They were the first to have robotic bartenders. They were the first to have the robo screens in 270. The projection technology that the Quantum class ships have is remarkable. Just before then, with the Oasis and the Allure, when they came out, they were engineering feat when it comes to the nautical terms and the sheer size of the ship and how big it is. Introducing a place like this, we're right now in Central Park. We are in a park in the middle of the ocean, which is amazing, with real trees and foliage all around us, and even birds that are hitchhiking, which is pretty awesome too. But the nice thing about the Harmony, or what's really groundbreaking about the Harmony, is it took the awe and wonder of an Oasis class ship, added in the technology that the Quantum class ships brought to the industry, and it's really truly the best of both worlds. And how it changes in my job, I think just from the operational standpoint, it's a much bigger operation to run. I have a larger team. We've got everything from the Ultimate Abyss to the Perfect Storm water slides that we manage. The shows are incredible. The technology is great. So it just, from an operational standpoint, there's just some variances here and there. But the Anthem definitely prepared me for what the Harmony is because of the technology side of things.
And then when you're on board a ship this size, it's a huge ship, things are spread out, but every night you still manage to get from show to show with only a couple minutes between. How have you managed to get around and do all that?
Ah, goodness. There you go. Well, there's always these secret passageways. That's number one. And I like to try and make myself as popular on board the ship as I possibly can. So when I walk from one end of the ship to the next through a guest area, especially the Royal Promenade, the big shopping mall, I get stopped about every 15 to 20 feet. And I don't want to just be the one to say, hey, how you doing? And just keep on walking. I'd like to stop and meet as many people as I can. There's almost 5,500 people on board this ship today, and this ship can hold over 6,300 on many, many cruises. So I like to take the time with the guests, but every now and then I do need to get from the Royal Theater at the very front of the ship to the Aqua Theater at the very back of the ship, and that's when we need to take the crew area and the backway corridors where I can really speed up and just power walk all the way through. So there's quite a few nooks and crannies and secret doors that you can go through that the guests can't go, but the crew can. And it's I need to get a scooter.
You need to get one of those tubes like 270 had to just zip you straight over to the other end.
Yes, exactly that. Exactly that. Or maybe one of the, like the thing that they have at the bank where you put your money in and just if I could step in that and just shoot to the other side of the ship, I think that would be best.
And then on board Anthem and Harmony as well now, we've got the Royal IQ app with the digital...
Oh, look, a bird just flew by. We're in the middle of the ocean.
And one of the features that is the digital compass that allows us to see what's on the compass every day. How has that affected your ability to be a little more dynamic and change things as you go along?
Well, the nice thing about the technology from the Harmony of the Seas and the app, the Royal IQ app, is it is live with essentially very little lag time. So if we do need to change anything, we're able to do that in an instant. And the cruise compass, we will print it 2 days in advance. But let's say something changes or something needs to change, the hard copy physical piece of paper that is printed, that won't be able to change, but we can actually access all of our technology through the app, through the television, through the wayfinders, the digital boards around the ship that have the information, and we are able to update that real time. And it only takes, for an update-wise, about 30 minutes to do. So we can update it, and it goes in an instant. So that's great in a way of accessing and giving guests information that's most up-to-date every single time.
And then this is obviously a different kind of sailing. Normally an Oasis class is pretty routine, 7 nights, and just keeps repeating forever. But this is 13 nights, a completely different format for a ship like this.
Yeah.
So what kind of changes have you had to make to accommodate for this extra length?
Well, anytime you take a ship and you move it from one part of the world into the next, it's an exciting time because you have, first of all the guests on board the ship are excited to do this type of a journey. Plus, there's another tens of thousands or millions of guests that are on the other end waiting for us to get to our new home port. And on these types of transitional cruises, we have a lot of repeat guests. And on board the Harmony, this cruise, we have over 83% guests that have sailed with the Royal Caribbean before. So they are our seasoned cruisers, our professionals, if you will. People that are just one cruise away from becoming a crew member, essentially. So we need to up the game. And what we've been able to do in planning over the last couple of months is take best practices of what we've done in the past in our transitional cruises and what guests enjoy, incorporate all of the benefits and the new technology and new activities and new events that the Harmony has to offer, things like the Ultimate Abyss and the Perfect Storm and the theme nights and the shows and the entertainment and the dining and all of this. We're able to add that into the mix of what we know works and then just keep it going. And everybody, this cruise, for the most part, as far as I know, is having an amazing time. Very, very few concerns, but we're rocking and rolling. Yeah.
And then not only is it a transatlantic and the ship's first time going to the U.S., but it is also going to be Halloween tomorrow. So
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Tomorrow? It's Halloween tomorrow?
Yes.
I'm joking, I know.
Yeah, if you look in the little Royal IQ app, it has October 31st listed right there.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, actually some guests had asked me that. They said, hey Abe, are you gonna have any Halloween celebrations? And my response was, no, I'm sorry. And the blank look, I said, of course we are, of course. It's Halloween on a cruise ship. Halloween has definitely went from a children's holiday to basically an adult holiday. And this cruise, we have a massive blowout of a party planned for tomorrow night. We've got the entire Royal Promenade, from the stretch from the forward end of the ship all the way to the back. We will most likely have somewhere between 2,500 to 3,000 guests in the Royal Promenade celebrating Halloween. Tons of decorations. We've got a haunted house set up. We're going to turn an entire lounge, close it down for the entire day in preparation for Halloween and for the party. We've got costume contest. We've got live music. We've got DJs. We've got massive balloon drop. We've got big things planned for Halloween for sure.
So we can easily say the Harmony is setting another record of the largest Halloween party ever held at sea.
Actually, yeah, you could say that. Yeah, that's fairly confident to say that would be the case. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to tell the people?
No, for everybody out there watching on the old YouTube, come aboard the Harmony of the Seas. It's an amazing ship. We're going to be sailing out of Port Everglades, which is Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Every Saturday, we're going to be leaving, alternating between an Eastern Caribbean cruise, going to Nassau, Bahamas, St. Thomas, and St. Martin, as well as a Western Caribbean cruise where we go to our private island of Labadee, Falmouth, Jamaica, as well as Cozumel, Mexico. So we've got unbelievable entertainment, we've got unbelievable activities, we've got an unbelievable ship, and most importantly, an unbelievable crew that will be taking great care of you. Over 2,200 of them from over 75 different nations around the world all put together this Harmony crew on the world's largest cruise ship. So I look forward to seeing you somewhere, sometime in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Derek. Appreciate your time.
So that was fun talking to Abe, learning a bit about how he's managing this sailing, but more importantly, the most interesting thing I think is the fact that we were in Quantum 2 years ago, now we're in Harmony. Abe basically did that in about a day, came straight from the Anthem of the Seas to the Harmony of the Seas, and has really only been on as long as I've been here, and yet he's the one running the whole show. So it is interesting to see just how quickly and well he's managed to make that transition and really take charge and control this sailing as we make this very long 13-night sailing across the ocean, something that would be a challenge to any cruise director, even the most experienced, Oasis class cruise director, since it is such a unique and distinct sailing to try and manage and keep all of it under control. But he's doing an incredible job of that, and he's really going to be put to the test tomorrow, as that it was mentioned in that interview. It is Halloween, and there will be Halloween festivities all over the ship. It is currently about 2 a.m. and prior to coming over here to Wonderland, in the promenade, all the different, it looked like cast and stage crew members from the different theaters were out throughout the promenade decorating everything and getting things prepared for tomorrow's big Halloween festivities and parties. So tomorrow, of course, will be a big day, a lot of Halloween stuff to talk about, so be sure to come back and check that out. For now, I'm Picone, and stay tuned for the links.